Hello my dear students, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to our newspaper analysis of November 18, The Hindu. Before I start, let me request all of you to subscribe to our social media channels. Ensure that you all leave positive comments, so that will function as an encouragement to all of us. We promise that our team will strive hard to provide you the best of all services. Today at 3 p.m. we will have a session on English by Krishnan sir. Make sure that all of you attend the class. The session is exclusively for those who have taken up the course. The newspaper analysis which we give every day, many people say that they are making it the good use. I am very happy to know that, and there were some good responses on yesterday's class on quantitative aptitude 2. Every day except Sundays. On Sundays we shall be on air giving you live sessions on newspaper analysis at 12, which is open to all, and at 3 other topics will be covered. So we shall begin with the newspaper The Hindu, dated November 18. The major news was the Supreme Court Chief Justice asking the Solicitor General, what mechanism do you have against fake news? Okay. So the Supreme Court was referring to a media related case in which it was asking that, why don't you have a mechanism to control news broadcasters? Of course, there is a private agency called a News Broadcasters Association, which is kind of a self-regulating agency. We know about the media trials that take place every day in various channels, which more often go beyond the limits. So can a self-regulatory mechanism do justice and prevent media excesses? That is a question. Of course, there is no doubt in the minds of anybody that we require a free press and a free media, but can media dictate terms? That is a question. What if they go beyond the limits? So who will prescribe that limit? That are the questions that the Supreme Court Chief Justice asked the Solicitor General. So the government has asked, the Supreme Court has asked the government to come back with an affidavit on what actions that the central government proposes to take on controlling the media. Not controlling the media, having some kind of a mechanism to control the news broadcasters. So we have to wait what the government is going to propose. Madhya Pradesh planning law against love jihad, says minister. We know that it was the UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath first said that UP would come out with law to control love jihad, which was followed by another state, Haryana, and now thirdly Madhya Pradesh is also proposing to come out with a law against love jihad. So the intentions, when you make a law, the intention of law has to be clear, and it cannot be against any specific religion or a community. Love jihad refers to a Muslim man luring a Hindu woman. How can a law of that kind exist or can even test the constitutionality? Hindu once commented on this, through an editorial Hindu once commented, how can the state make a law which will be an intrusion into privacy of men? It is not possible. It may not test the constitutionality. We know that Indian Parliament can make any law, but those laws have to stand the test of constitutionality, otherwise the higher courts like the Supreme Court or the High Courts of India will strike that law as unconstitutional. There cannot be any law which is either unconstitutional or anti-constitutional. So the states, the governments have to be very careful when they come out with a law which may not get much of an acceptance. A law should not be to appease one section of society, or it cannot be against another section of the society. Such laws may not have any place in this country. Anyway, we have to wait what is going to happen. Please read and follow this news. Already 3 states are proposing, but no state has ever come out with a law. They are proposing. UP first, Haryana second, and now Madhya Pradesh. So we have to wait and see how these things evolve. A shot in the arm. The Hindu comments on Moderna, the American drug makers invention of the new COVID vaccine, which is 94.5% clear. Look, we always, COVID has changed the world. COVID has changed even certain words. We always ask others to be positive, not in the case of Corona. Corona has changed the world like anything. Corona has made economies paralyze, made economies into standstill mode. So if things are to get normalized, we require a vaccine. A vaccine is important. So how fast can we get the vaccine? The Moderna vaccine is not going to be available for Indians or any other countries. It is available only to Americans. But Pfizer, another international giant, has said that they will make available the vaccines everywhere. So how many doses of vaccines do we require, the world requires? What are the cold chain requirements that are needed? Moderna vaccines, it does generally, these vaccines have to be kept under minus 200 degrees Celsius. So that is a big challenge. Many countries don't have such cold storage facilities. So how that thing will happen, again a major task. But Moderna has said that their vaccine can withstand even room temperature for 12 hours. So that is again a heartening thing. So we have to wait and see how the world is going to manage vaccination. So please follow every news item that would come on Corona vaccination, not just from the point of view of examination. This is going to be another history. 100 years hence, 200 years hence, we will learn stories as we learned Spanish flu. During the Corona times, we read about Spanish flu that happened in the last century. So 100 years hence, 200 years hence, this is going to be a history. How the world managed the biggest pandemic ever. The impact of Spanish flu on the world economy was much less when compared to the impact of Corona, because presently we are living in a world which is highly interconnected. When Spanish flu occurred a century ago, it was the soldiers that spread the virus across the world. The soldiers who were fighting the First World War spread the virus across the world. But now it is not soldiers, but it is trade that spread the virus across the world. Mind you, China is the hub of manufacturing of the world, and this virus emanated from China. It didn't take much time to spread across the world. Okay, so please read anything about Corona. Fragile ceasefire, we were speaking a few days ago also about the ceasefire in Azerbaijan and Armenia. Azerbaijan and Armenia are two former Soviet republics. Soviet Union collapsed in the late 80s. Soviet Union was a big empire, communist empire that collapsed in 1980s, and once Soviet Union collapsed, the Soviet Union got split into 15 republics. The biggest republic is the Russian Federation. Azerbaijan and Armenia are Asian territories of Soviet Union. Soviet Union is partly in Europe and partly in Asia. The biggest province of Soviet Union was in the Asian territories, but more populous was in European territories. So now all the Asian territories of Soviet Union, the formerly Soviet Union, erstwhile Soviet Union, split into various republics, and Azerbaijan and Armenia are two republics. In the 1990s, there was a war between Azerbaijan and Armenia, and Azerbaijan went into war. The latest war was in September. The latest war between Azerbaijan and Armenia took place in September, started in September, and it lasted for a few weeks. In the 1990s, Armenia captured a few provinces of Azerbaijan. Mainly it was the Nagorno-Karabakh. The present day fight is on Nagorno-Karabakh region. This Nagorno-Karabakh region was occupied by Armenian troops in the 1990s war. So Nagorno-Karabakh belongs to Azerbaijan, but where there are a lot of ethnic Armenians are living. That is the problem. So in September 2020, these countries again went into war. Azerbaijan declared a war against Armenia, and Azerbaijan is backed by Turkey, while Russia almost remained neutral. So the latest ceasefire is brokered by Russia, but it looks as if it's a fragile agreement. So because the local Armenians have not accepted the peace deal, they are trying to dethrone their president. So we have to wait and see whether this will again become another full-fledged war. So we have to wait and see. Please follow this news. Shifting sands for Asian economies. It is a beautiful article, center page article that came up in India's the Hindu's center page. Okay, listen. This article is all about whether there would be a change in mindset of global companies, and will they take the base from China out of the country. Is it possible for them to take the base? Look, in China also the cost of employment is going up, labor cost is going up. China had the benefit of cheap employment. That was one of the reasons. Of course, it is a very resourceful country, and they started their economic liberalization in 1978 during the times of Deng Xiaoping. So they have always been providing all the manufacturers wanted, and that is why they have become a manufacturing hub of the world. It is a highly resourceful country with very strict laws, and there is an absolute presence of any labor laws. So labor has been very cheap. These were the reasons why manufacturing migrated to China, and China has become a production powerhouse. It has become the factory of the world. Many popular American products like iPhone are manufactured in China. So and now listen, China has got imperial ambitions. China has given a lot of money, help to African countries. We discussed that even yesterday. Now China has started influencing even the foreign policies of many countries in Africa. We know the same thing in Sri Lanka also. China has developed a port in Sri Lanka. Now Sri Lankan government owes $4 billion of repayment this year. So now China will start dictating foreign policy of even Sri Lankan government. We have to wait what is going to happen. Anyway, in the context of the passage, this essay, will the companies be able to shift completely from China in the post-COVID scenario? The answer is no. The writer says that it is going to be China plus one country. He says that it is going to be China plus one country. Listen, it was not just cheap labor that attracted China, that was an attraction to China. They have over a few decades, big manufacturing companies have made their base in China. They have made a good supply chain in China. So they have made an industrial ecosystem, and that ecosystem is not that easy to get replaced. That is what the article says. So the article clearly says that we cannot forget China completely. The world will continue to depend on China for manufacturing. Of course, that does not undermine India's prospects. India has also have to do a few things. That is what the article says. India has already changed their labor laws. 3 labor laws were amended recently, and many other countries like Indonesia and Sri Lanka have changed their laws to make to attract or lure industrialists. Anyway, let us see what is going to happen. It is a beautiful readable article. Please read. Constitutional fault lines. This is about the reluctance of the Tamil Nadu governor in providing in setting free Perarivalan, who was an accused and a convict in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. I told you once, Perarivalan was a convict in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. In fact, he just became a part of the group that decided to assassinate Rajiv Gandhi. He did not know who Rajiv Gandhi was. But anyway, he spent nearly 20 years, many years as an under trial, and later as a convict in jails. So Article 72 of the Indian Constitution provides the authority to pardon any convict to the President of India. President of India can pardon anybody under Article 72 of the Indian Constitution, and under Article 161 of the Indian Constitution, gubernatorial authority is there. Governors of state can provide pardon to any convict. But the certain governor's decision and the decision of the president cannot be their personal decision. Rather, they are bound by the decision of the union cabinet or the state cabinet. President's decision will be governed by, controlled by the decision of the union cabinet, and the decisions of the governor is bound by the state cabinet. The Tamil Nadu state cabinet decided to set free Perarivalan a few months back, but the governor of Tamil Nadu has so far not taken any decision. That is why the Hindu says that governor's inaction on advice to free Rajiv Gandhi convicts warrants judicial intervention, and it is a constitutional fault line. I think it is very clear to you. Tamil Nadu government took a decision to set free Perarivalan, and even Supreme Court asked, the Supreme Court of India asked, why haven't you taken the decision? But still the governor of Tamil Nadu has not taken any decision. This is totally inhumanitarian, that a person has to spend for more than 20 years in jail for something that he didn't even know. Anyway, hopefully the decision would come soon. Listen, Article 72 confers the president the right to pardon, and Article 161 of the Constitution confers the right to the governor to provide pardon to convicts. So very important read. Confront sponsors of terror, Prime Minister Modi. He was addressing the 12th BRICS summit. What is BRICS? Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. What is their peculiarity? They are the big economies of different continents. They are emerging economies in the world, not developed but emerging developing economies. BRICS, they have got plenty of commonalities and common issues to share, common concerns to share. So BRICS were BRICS 12th summit was addressed by the Prime Minister of India through video conferencing. we know that all these summits are happening on the sidelines of the confrontation between India and China on our eastern border. So please read whether there will be any summit agreements or declarations are something that we have to be watchful about. If some major declarations come, decisions are taken, then immediately that will come even for your examination. Center yet to decide on export subsidy on sugar. See, India is a major sugar producer in the world, and this year it is expected that our production will be around 310 lakh tons, 310 lakh tons, of which nearly 60 to 70 lakh tons will be surplus, which are to be sold to other countries or to be exported. But the government of India has not been able to provide nearly 5,000 crore rupees that are due to sugar mills by way of subsidies. So that is what is pointed out in this news. Please read. Our total sugar production expectations and actual productions and all are very important even from the point of view of examination. So realize and understand that India is a major sugar producing country, realize and understand that India is a sugar exporting country, and understand that the government has got 5,000 crore rupees due to sugar mills. So how this issue is going to be tied over is something that we have to check. Already the sugar crushing season is underway now. RCEP is going to be very important. We discussed that in detail. RCEP is a 15 country conglomeration, regional comprehensive economic pact, so partnership, RCEP. India backed out of RCEP in did not sign and backed out of RCEP in 2019 September, sorry 2019 November we moved out of it. So these countries, what are the countries? 10 ASEAN nations plus Australia, New Zealand, China, South Korea and Japan. Mind you, they hold RCEP manages 30% of global GDP. Yesterday we discussed a editorial of the Hindu, in which Hindu was airing its concern whether it was going to be a threat or a treat. So this former Foreign Secretary of India says that India has something to lose if India does not become a party to RCEP. Of course, the doors are not completely closed to India. India had aired a few concerns which RCEP as other members failed to understand. That is why India had to back out. Our farmers had concerns. Anyway, only time will prove whether the decision to back out of RCEP was a good idea. You see, Indian exports were completely dependent on United States of America as well as Europe. Those were the major destinations for Indian exports, and it was during Prime Minister Vajpayee's time that we went for a look east policy, because at that time Prime Minister Vajpayee understood that the East Asian countries were prospering like anything, and there was a chance for India to export goods to those nations. That has become a reality. Now the might of Europe has almost come down. So the Asian countries are prospering like anything. So it is a great chance for India to export heavily to these countries. But of course, every good things will have the other side too. It has to be quid pro quo. So we have to open up our economy also. It has to be, it cannot be take the protectionist lines. So that is what Mr. Shyam Saran, former Foreign Secretary of India, says. Please read any article that would come up on RCEP. Wherever Rao's medical report and eyewash, Supreme Court was very hasty in providing bail to, entertaining the bail petition as well as providing bail to Arnab Goswami. Yesterday we discussed about many people on which the Supreme Court of India were not that merciful. One of the case was the poet Varavara Rao. He is having neurological issues, medical issues, and he is having Alzheimer's, but this 81-year-old man is wandering in Indian jails. Siddiq Kapan, a journalist from Kerala, is under arrest. The so-called crime that he did was that he visited Hathras, where one minor girl was brutally raped and murdered in Hathras, UP, and nobody knows in which jail he is kept. But Supreme Court of India was very hasty. It was criticized by in an article Advocate Panchu criticized. So this is the poet Varavara Rao, who is wandering in Indian jail. The advocate who represents Varavara Rao in the Supreme Court bail petition, he says that the so-called video conferencing, medical checkup during video conferencing was a full eyewash. Anyway, make your own opinion regarding these things. In a democracy, we have got the right to make opinions and express opinions. So be a person who would continuously make opinions, and that is how we can slowly improve our connect. Amid protests, Peru gets third president in a week. Very important. Peru is a Latin American country. We know many Latin American countries. Brazil, thanks to its being a football hub, we know Brazil, Argentina, Bolivia, Colombia, Paraguay, Nicaragua. There are nearly 30 countries in the, not nearly, there are 30 countries in the Latin America, and Peru is one of the countries. Of course, these Latin American countries are almost pro-leftist countries, and there is political instability. He is the third president in 1 week's time, and the fourth president in less than 3 years. So please know, Francisco Sagasti is the latest president of Peru. Price of hasty Afghan pullout could be high. President Donald Trump has been trying for moving out of Afghanistan. We know that in Afghanistan there is issue of Pakistan instigated Talibanism. So Taliban forces are trying to destabilize the popularly elected Afghan government, and Afghan government is given protection by Western forces led by United States of America. The article says that if we go for any kind of hasty pullout, then the plight of Afghanistan will be very bad and difficult. So the time of pullout has to be determined with patience, and it has to be only phased pulling out, not a pull out all of a sudden. Anyway, please read. Joe Biden has also said that he would also pull out the thing, but he will make alternate plans hopefully. 41 injured as pro-democracy activists clash with Thai police. We know that Thailand is a kingdom. The king is very much unpopular now in Thailand, and the government force are trying to suppress opposition parties, and king is languishing in London, in England. So the latest the present Prime Minister Prachut Chan-o-cha, all these things are very important because it is an Asian country, a democracy. So people have been striking for a few months for the removal of the Prime Minister. Prime Minister is having strong backing of the monarchy. The monarchical influence in this country is very high. So the monarchy has also become very unpopular in Thailand now. So slowly understand how things are evolving in Thailand. You see, another bad news for Indian banks. Lakshmi Vilas Bank is in big trouble. The Reserve Bank of India has imposed a moratorium of 1 month on Lakshmi Vilas Bank. Depositors can withdraw only 25,000, but RBI is trying for alternate plans. The major issue was that Lakshmi Vilas Bank's non-performing assets have gone up to 26% of the total credit, meaning if 100 rupees worth loans were given, 26 rupees 50 paise worth loan became non-performing, meaning unpaid loans. So that is the major problem. That is why the Reserve Bank of India has put in moratorium. So people lost confidence. They started withdrawing money from their deposits. When too many people withdraw, if all the depositors withdraw money from any bank, even the biggest bank may collapse. That is called run on the bank. That is called run on the bank. So people start running on the bank, and anticipating the collapse, Reserve Bank of India imposed a temporary 25,000 limit cap on withdrawals from Lakshmi Vilas Bank by its customers. Parallelly, Reserve Bank of India is looking at a possibility of an amalgamation. Singapore's DBS India Limited is a bank in India. DBS is trying to take over Lakshmi Vilas Bank. DBS may also get benefited because all of a sudden they will become a good presence in India, but we have to slowly wait and see what is going to happen. This is very important from the point of view of your exams too. It is about Tokyo Olympics. Dr. Thomas Bash is the president of the International Olympic Committee. He says that Olympics will be held in Tokyo in July 2021. So the next Olympics is going to be held in Tokyo. Of course, this COVID days were well and truly bad for all athletes. They might have lost plenty of opportunities to excel their talent, but hopefully Tokyo Olympics will be held under full audience. Let us hope so. Thank you very much for watching the program. I am sure that you got benefited from the program. I expect all of you to post your comments in the YouTube about this program. That will be a great encouragement to us, and we take a lot of effort in materializing all these things. All of you have to join our social media platform, subscribe, like and comment. That will be a great encouragement. At 3 o'clock, my colleague Mr. Krishnan will come with a session on English. Wait for Krishnan sir's class. I am sure that there will be again another live session that you would enjoy. This is going to be a regular feature. All days we will have, of course, except on Sundays. Read well, learn well. Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you all. Thank you very much.